So if you remember, we created a public subnet. We created a VPC. We created a VPC with public subnet. We created a VPC with private subnet. Okay. And then now today we'll be actually, what I was saying about internet gateway and NAT gateways is something that I want to show you guys today. Okay. I want to do some, I wanted to show you what is the difference between resources that are created in public subnet and resources that are created in private subnet. Okay. And we'll try to analyze how do we generally use them. So in some cases, we'll try to understand how do we generally use these subnets and resources. Okay. I am quickly logging into my system. We'll again create a small VPC today with one public and one private subnet. And I'll show you around some resources that are created. And today, if possible, if not possible today, then tomorrow we'll try to go ahead and create a, somebody is creating some cluster and Kubernetes cluster and Kubernetes cluster using ops. So that's what is happening there. I'll create a simple VPC here with DevOps course as the name, default. So I'm creating one public VPC and one private VPC. Private VPC will be attached with a specific route table. Then will be attached with network connection. And again, this goes in this way. I am not creating a NAT gateway in this case. Okay. So no NAT gateway, no VPC endpoint, nothing. So you remember in case of a private subnet, we did had a NAT gateway. Okay. But in this case, I'm not creating a NAT gateway. Okay. Now I wanted you to understand what happens with when I attach a NAT gateway and when I remove a NAT gateway. Okay. So currently it's removed. There is no NAT gateway here. I am not customizing any VPC CIDRs and everything. I don't want to do that right now. If I want, I can do this. Okay. I'll show you how to create these CIDRs and what do they mean. How do we understand that? What is this /24? What is this number? We'll try to understand that in depth in upcoming classes. Remind me if I forget it. So look, it quickly created a VPC. So this is my VPC. Okay. In my VPC, this is the resource map. We have two subnets. I'll show you route table for a private subnet currently. Okay. There is no NAT. If you come and check NAT gateway, there's no NAT gateway also. So we have not created any NAT gateway here for this particular VPC. Okay, this is my VPC. Now, let me try to create an EC2 instance. First EC2 instance I will be creating in public subnet. Okay, so DevOps course public instance. Again, I'm creating an Ubuntu machine. Same thing. I'm creating a very small system. Key pair, I'm using my own key pair, which I've created before. So you can go ahead and select this DevOps class or whichever key pair you want to use if you have. Make sure you have the key pair before selecting it here, because this is something that cannot be changed after creating an instance. Okay. I'm giving it an existing security group. You can create a new security group, whichever you would like to use. Okay. Again, storage minimum as possible. If I go to advanced settings, Here is an important option again, is if you want to auto assign a public IP or not. Since it is a public machine, I want to auto assign a public IP. In terms of a private machine, I won't be doing this. I don't want to auto assign this IP. Okay. Subnet, I can select. VPC, I'll have to select. I'm selecting my VPC. Subnet, I am changing it to public subnet. Auto assign a public IP, yes. Security group, I'll create a new security group, okay? And which will have SSH access. That's what I want to give. That's all. And interface and all of these details, I'm not setting it up. Okay. So you remember now since I want to create an EC2 instance in this subnet, okay, and this VPC, here when I'm creating an EC2 instance, in network settings, I'll have to select my VPC and my subnet. If I don't select this VPC and subnet, it will go ahead and create in the default VPC and subnet, which I already mentioned that whenever you create an AWS account in every region, it does create an EC2 instance. It does create a VPC. Okay. So in that VPC, it will create a EC2 instance if you don't select these options. Okay. Now I'm launching an instance now. Let's see what is happening. Now, if you see here, this is my instance. Okay. Still in pending state. We'll wait for a few minutes. It has a public IP. It has a private IP. Public IP is given to like AWS has a pool of public IPs which it has already bought, because these public IPs are limited in the world. Okay, because one public IP, if given to one instance, cannot be given to another, because public IP means publicly available. Okay, if two people have same publicly available name, then you won't be able to identify where I have to go. Okay, so there are limited public IPs in the world. These public IPs, some of the cloud providers and other providers have already bought. Okay, so you can buy these public IPs from there. So this is one such public IP that is coming in from AWS pool, resource pool, AWS IP pool. Okay, now if you come here, it is in RVPC. Okay, and this is in public subnet. Okay, VPC, public subnet, and this is my key pair. Key pair is agnostic of whichever region you would like, whichever like if I have created a key pair, it can be used in any VPC in this particular region. In this particular region. Okay, while security group is attached to a VPC, so you will have to create separate security groups for separate VPCs. Okay. Now let me try and connect to this instance. To connect to this instance, either you can come and click on this. If you have enough accesses, it will allow you to log in. Okay. Avoid, for some companies, they encourage you to do it in this way. Okay. For some companies, they completely disable this option. Okay. They don't want you to connect EC2 instance via browser. So we will do it via SSH client. So I'm going to copy this, and now why I'm running it in downloads folder is because this DevOps class.pem file is present in downloads folder. That's why. Okay. You can give path also there. Now I have logged into the system, host name -I. Okay. Now if I want to curl google.com here, I can get curl as in I'm trying to access google.com. So google.com is accessible from here. Okay. It is giving me something. I won't be able to see it in the browser because there's no browser in this, but I'm able to reach. Okay. Example, I want to reach somewhere like some other stuff. Um, I want to, okay. So in Ubuntu, apt is the package manager. Okay. I do apt update using root user. Okay. And I try to download probably Nginx in this. Okay. Let me do that. So what I'm trying to do here is I created an instance in public subnet. Okay. Executed an apt update command, which will update all the packages, package versions, etc. And then I am installing Nginx in this. Okay. So it is going to us. If you see, it is going to some other links and trying to get Nginx package from there. Okay. So it is going to some external links and trying to get something installed in my system. Okay. Which worked successfully. Now I have Nginx installed in my system. If I see here, I can see Nginx is running. Hopefully it is running on port 80. So I'll enable port 80 here in my security group and check if everything is working fine. Okay, security will be in this. Now I can access anything that is running on this system, on this instance, and can also connect to Nginx. So it is running on my machine. Can you see this is my machine's IP? This machine's public IP. Anything that is running on that system, you are able to access. Nginx that's running on that system, you are able to access. I can make a change on the system. Okay, and help you test it out also. Wait, I'm checking few options. If you see here, what is the root? This is site enabled. It's just picking everything that's available at site enabled right now. Root is present at this location. Generally, it is always present at this location. So you can quickly go to this location. This is the page that you are seeing there. Okay. If you see this page, let me edit it using sudo. Why I'm doing sudo? Sudo is basically running this command with a privileged user. Okay. If you see this page, it is coming from my public machine. It is coming from Nginx web server. Running on my public instance and is successfully installed. Working required. Configuration is required. Okay. Now let me reload. This is coming from Nginx web server running on my public instance. I did this change to prove you that all of this is something that's coming in from here only. Running on public instance. If I make this change, automatically that change will be reflected here. Okay, which means that you are able, okay, from this machine that's there in public subnet, you are able to access internet, and internet is able to access anything that is running on this system via this public IP. Okay, make sure you open the security group. Okay, I'll talk to you more about security group in depth in upcoming classes, but we have to enable the security group to make it work. Now let's try and do similar thing on another instance. So one thing, all the resources or uh, like managed services that are running on public subnet will have internet connectivity, and internet will be able to reach them. Okay, if security group is not blocking it. Okay, now I'm on private. I'm creating a private instance. Ubuntu. Again, same thing. Everything is same. Okay, only thing that I'm going to edit here is same VPC, but this time private subnet. Okay, even if I enable it, it is of no value. Okay, even if I disable it, it is of no value. Okay, so I'll enable it to show you, but ideally this should be disabled. Okay, because it doesn't make sense. Okay, so this is something. Auto assign public IP means, do you want to assign a public IP to it? Additional charges will be applicable if you enable this option. Okay, I am enabling this option because I wanted you to understand that even if both of them have a public IP, since they are in separate subnets, okay, it will define what you are trying to do on that system or what you can do on that system. Okay, even having a public IP will not make the system reachable. So this is the IP. You remember you were able to log in into that system. In this system, you are able to log in. So this is my public instance. This is private instance. Now, let me see if it's up again. It's up. Okay. Now, you remember I was able to connect it via this. Let's see if now I'll be able to do that. It will not allow you. Why? Okay. Let me first now check second thing, that is security group. Security group 22 is available for everyone, but still I am unable to connect. Why so? Any idea? Anyone? Why am I not able to connect to this instance? Anyone? I'm trying to connect via public IP only. Everything is correct. But only difference between this machine and this machine is it is in public subnet, it is in private subnet. So the major difference between public subnet and private subnet is public subnet has connectivity to internet via internet gateway. So it is reachable from internet, and it is reachable from internet and it can reach to internet. Okay. So in a private subnet, that's not the case. Okay. It is only reachable internally to internal resources only. So what we'll do, We'll go to this public subnet, and from this public subnet, we'll try to reach there. Okay. Because I mentioned just now that anything that is available in private subnet, it is reachable internally. Okay. But is not reachable outside, right? That's what I mentioned just now, right? I am copying this PEM file here in the system. Why I am doing this is because I want to get this file here. So that from using this file, I can SSH in that system. Okay. Which system I'm talking about? Private. So I'm trying to connect to private instance from public instance. Let's see if it is reachable. Yes, it is. Okay. So second thing, private subnet will never be directly reachable from internet. So any resource that is created, resource not, doesn't only mean EC2 instance, but RDS, anything that is kept in this particular subnet, kept in private subnet, will not be reachable from internet. Okay. It is private means it is only available internal to the network. So to reach to these systems, we generally create a bastion host. Bastion host means an instance that is available in public subnet. Okay. Or we'll have an open VPN or some other way to reach to that instance. Okay. But we will no longer be able to reach to this instance directly from internet. Okay. Now, you remember I hit google.com there and I was able to get an answer, right? Here, now also if I hit google.com, I'm getting an answer, right? I'm getting a response. But similarly, in case of a private instance, that's not the case. Now, why is this not the case? Is because this is a private subnet without NAT gateway. To give private subnet access to internet in any way, you will need a NAT gateway in the middle. If you don't have NAT gateway, it will not be able to connect itself from internet gateway and will not be able to reach internet. Okay, and will still be a and will no longer be able to reach the internet. So here in this case, if you want to keep this very private, okay, there are companies who want to keep their instance very private, so they don't want to even connect it with NAT. Okay, they say that I will have everything internally, I'll copy everything if I want to, but I don't want to connect it to internet. But now if I want to run this command on the system, or want to run some apt update and install nginx here in this, okay, it is unable to connect to Ubuntu archive. So it will no longer be able to update also. So to update the system, to connect, install anything, we need NAT gateway to be attached to this private subnet. To attach a NAT gateway to this private subnet, let's create a NAT gateway in this case. Okay. Now I'm going here. I'm creating a NAT gateway. DevOps course NAT. So you remember I did not give a NAT gateway last time. This should be attached to a public subnet. Why? Because it needs internet connectivity, correct? It created an elastic IP, attached that elastic IP here and created a NAT gateway. Now, I will attach this NAT gateway once available. This takes some time. Okay, so I will attach this NAT gateway to my subnet, to my private subnet. Only then my private subnet will have internet connectivity. Let's see. My private subnet is there. Let's check the route table. Do you see any NAT gateway here? No. Which means No internet connectivity. It is only able to identify any request that goes internally. That means from one machine to another machine in the network you can go. But from one machine to going to internet is not possible. Okay. Why we are doing this exercise? We are doing this exercise to help you understand what is the exact meaning when I say public, what is the exact meaning when I say private, what is exact meaning which I say private subnet without NAT gateway. If I say private subnet without NAT gateway, it will have no internet connectivity. Everything is internal. Okay, if you want to even update the system, it will no longer be able to connect to internet. So to update the system, you will either have to have local yum, local app repositories and other things. Okay, if not, then you will not be able to install or make any changes in the system. To install that system, you can manually copy stuff and then run it. Like example, if I want to have nginx here, I can definitely get nginx deb file and run it here. That's possible. Okay, but directly via package manager you will not. Okay, app yum, these are all package managers. Now I come here, I have this available here. Let me go to the route table. This is my private route table. I'll edit the route, add a route. This is my NAT gateway, save the settings. Once I save the settings, can you see? It was not able to connect to google.com. Now it is able to. So just after attaching NAT gateway, it was able to. Now let's remove NAT gateway once again and see if NAT gateway is causing this. Remove NAT gateway. No response from google.com also. Let me attach NAT gateway and this was not working, right? This was not working. Now it gave a response. Why did it give a response? Because I've attached it to NAT gateway. Will I be able to do apt update? Definitely. Will I be able to install nginx in it? Definitely. Let's see. So private means internal resource will only be available internal to the network and not outside the network. So I'm able to install nginx here. Okay. Now, since I'm able to install nginx, you remember I wanted to check whether my nginx is available outside also. So let's try to check via public IP whether I can see my nginx here. No, I cannot reach this IP. Why? Because it's in private subnet. And with I am trying with public IP because public IP makes sense in this case, not private IP. Private IP will definitely not be available because this doesn't understand that private IP. So even if I have nginx installed, even if I have nginx running, I have anything running on this network, on this machine, we will no longer be able to access that from internet, even after having a NAT gateway. So to have that so to be able to reach to anything that's running on the system, I can use public instance. Okay. Via public instance, I can access. Let me check public instance and IP. It did give a response. Here to me from the browser, from internet to that private instance, not able to connect. So you understand the difference? There are a couple of things here. Number one is private public subnet. In case of a public subnet, I am able to any resource that is created in that public subnet. Okay, it is able to access internet and internet is able to access it. So two-way communication. When I have a private subnet without NAT gateway, it is no longer able to connect to internet and internet will no longer be able to connect to this. Okay? No, no, yes, yes. Okay, in first case, it is able to connect, it is able to connect. In second case, it was not able to connect, not able to connect. Now, in case of a private subnet with NAT gateway, it is able to connect to internet because that's how it's able to reach google.com. Okay, but internet is not able to reach this machine. Okay, so incoming request not allowed because it is coming via NAT gateway. NAT gateway doesn't support that. Okay, because it will no longer be able to identify where I have to go. Okay, now in case of an outgoing request, it does allow. Okay, outgoing request to internet. Any questions so far? Anything specific that you would like to discuss? Because it's a very important topic, that's why I'm explaining it again and again, and I want you guys to understand it in depth. Okay, any questions so far?